Hi guys, welcome back. Well, the market is under pressure. You can't see it so much at the headline index, but definitely beneath the surface. Sun Pharma is your biggest loser, now down almost 11%. But Cyient also posted a very weak set of numbers this time around. The constant currency revenue growth was negative at 1.5% versus an estimate of a 1% growth. Ajay Agarwal, the president and CFO of Cyient, joins us now. Mr. Agarwal, good morning. If you can just start by telling us what was the reason for the negative growth in the quarter. In both services and design-led manufacturing, you've had a poor performance. What was the reason for that and what's the outlook?
Good morning, Sonia. First, Happy New Year to you as well as to all your viewers. If you can allow me 60 seconds, Lata said, we have disappointing set of numbers. If I may just clarify, I think on the top line, if you see, we have grown here about 20%. We are slated to grow plus 20% in terms of rupee. In terms of the dollar or constant currency, we will be in double digit as a group, both on year as well as for the full year. Our operating margin has expanded by 103 basis points, which is an outlier despite lower volumes. And we are slated to improve the margin year on year. Our operating profit will grow by 22% over the last year. So I would say that, while quarter three seasonally is a weak quarter for us, it was little more than what normally is. But I think for the year, the outlook is very good. To your question about what happened this quarter, I think there was little more push out to the quarter four than normally happens. But otherwise, I think it is the normal cyclicity of quarter three.
Okay, Ajay, good morning. I think, perhaps we are not saying that, the market's saying that. The stock's down about 5% and, when numbers are good, we would say that as well. So, I mean, just to put that record straight, of course, the market looks at numbers quarter on quarter for, IT companies. You also cut guidance. That's also one issue that the market is worried about. It was double digit earlier. It's 8.5 to 9.5% now.
See, I would say two things that, yes, marginally our revenue outlook is lower by, about 1% or so. We are trying to see that we do the best in the next quarter to get closer to our original guidance. But I think the focus is on operating profit. And if you see some of the reasons for decline in revenue year on year is also because we are letting go of a lot of unprofitable business. And that's showing up in our operating margin and operating profit growth. For example, look at design-led manufacturing. We let go of a large customer on communication side in design-led manufacturing. But if you see, we have delivered highest ever operating profit in design-led manufacturing. So I would say that, the focus of the company is very clear. We want to be more profitable and driven by, the growth led by profitable business. That's what we are focusing on for this year as well as the next year.
Okay, Ajay, you'll have lowered both margins as well as revenue. Your guidance has come down from double digit earlier to 8.5 to 9.5%. Well, you say you're maybe not going to take unprofitable business. But in that case, one would have expected you will stick with the earlier 50 basis point expansion. You'll have lowered that as well.
So I would say that, in terms of the margin, let me clarify. We are on track, except that, last quarter we had made an assumption based on the exchange rate, which has been fluctuating, which was at around 72. Now we have taken 70. The way it is going, if it goes back to 72, whatever we had guided last quarter will come true and we will expand it by 50 basis points.
Infosys and TCS both guided and indicated that they had a bigger demand for work than they had anticipated. Even than their bench was sufficient for. TCS said they even had to subcontract work out. So both these biggies are indicating that there is a lot of work out there which is coming to them. Are you not getting that sense?
No, we are getting that sense. If you look at, our North America, which is almost 60% of our business, we are definitely getting that traction. We are, in terms of subcontracting, we also have to subcontract. We have been hiring. So I would say, yes, in terms of demand, if you look at our order intake over the last year, if you look at our backlog and pipeline, definitely the demand scenario is positive.
Okay, but for the services growth guidance that you've scaled down to 8.5 to 9.5% for this year, is this something that we should expect in FY20 as well? The run rate of 8.5 to 9.5, is that something that you would be doing?
I would say that, if you see some of our large verticals, look at aerospace, I think we had last year some challenge on our large customer in terms of growth. That is behind us in this year. Next year, we will see higher growth. So aerospace and defense is going to be doing much better in terms of the growth compared to what we have done this year. In terms of communication, we used to do 20% kind of a growth, which this time has come down to 8 to 9% for this year. And we are very confident of this being better in next year. Utilities and the GIS is the only business which has degrown marginally or likely to degrow for the full year by about 2-3%. And that would also see growth in the next year. So there is no reason for us, based on what we are, where we are placed, that the growth will not be higher than where we are for this year. But you have to give us some time for our business planning to be completed in the next 6 weeks. Then we can talk more about the next year.
So on communication, just one final word. You said it's fallen to 8 to 9% growth in FY20. If you do see a recovery, you're expecting double-digit recovery?
I think so. I would be very surprised if it is not double-digit in next year.
Okay. All right, Ajay. We'll leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us. That Cyient stock down about 4%.
Thank you so much.
But the stock down 10% is Sun Pharma. This is after 6% move yesterday. And what it's done is that entire rally, which, it took almost 1 month for the stock to rally from this zone back to 450. That's gone in a matter of yesterday's 1 hour and today's first hour. Here's Ekta. Of course, she has some more details. Ekta, clearly the issue is fund selling after perhaps accessing that whistleblower document.
Yes, and maybe not even by accessing the whistleblower document, Anuj. The kind of feedback that I've picked up is that people are just worried about what the future course of action could be for Sun Pharma from a regulatory standpoint, and hence that uncertainty is also enough for them to probably let go of their positions. Now, in terms of the whistleblower document, remember that Money Life has basically allowed access to certain institutional investors to be able to see the whistleblower documents, to view them, but not to click any sort of pictures or take any information back. So in that particular, I spoke to somebody who's in fact managed to look at those documents, and the feedback that I've got is that majority of the documents which were looked at has contained allegations about Aditya Medisales, which is basically the distribution arm of Sun Pharma. It was incorporated in 1990. The biggest allegation is that it wasn't declared as a related party up till the FY18 annual report, but Sun Pharma has clarified, saying that this part, the reason for that was that they had taken all of the legal requirements, and they were in line with all of the legal requirements, and they did not need to do that until FY18. But however, the whistleblower document, according to my sources, basically alleges that Aditya Medisales' profit was depressed. It was used as a front to probably divert funds to other promoter-held entities as well, and hence there are some allegations about diversion of funds. For example, the document itself, the whistleblower document, has bank statements. It has certain reports with regards to the same office locations which are shared by the two entities, and that is also on the Money Life report if you access it online. And the report also alleges that there was around 3,000 odd crores which was loaned to Suraksha Realty from Aditya Medisales. So there are some bank statements with around 150 odd crores of this particular loan transaction taking place, and hence this could be a part of that 3,000 odd crores. So there is piecemeal information at this point in time. The important thing is that yes, there is uncertainty, but one needs to know where exactly Sun Pharma is legally in the clear and where exactly they are not legally in the clear when it comes to these transactions, because earlier in the past they have said repeatedly that we've taken the regulatory clearances that we need to. So what is new in these whistleblower documents, how much is fresh information which is not already known, is something that the street has to assess over the next couple of days. But as of now, the uncertainty is more about what is plaguing the stock as opposed to extremely incriminating information which is coming out.
Oh yes, in fact, if you take a look at, thanks for that. If you take a look at the volume picture on Sun Pharma, it is now the top traded stock, both in cash and in F&O. In fact, 20,
yeah, 2 crore, wait 1 minute. That is
25.4 million shares, 2.5 crore shares at starters. Now this is cash market volume, right? So
2.5 crore.
Yeah, so that's almost
one exchange.
Exactly, almost 1,000 crores. Large part of that would be, I think, some delivery trades as well. So some, the yesterday's 6% price damage and today's 11% price damage. Now, I mean, how's the stock looking? Nimish Mehta, founder and director of research at Delta Advisor, is with us now. Nimish, good morning. Your thoughts? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, a lot of it would be related to what the information is there, lying in the whistleblower's complaint. And given that it is not opened out to everybody, it's difficult to understand what is the incriminating part here. But as Ekta rightly pointed out, I think we need to really look at what is legal charges, because there might be transactions that we feel may be related party. But legally, what is right and what is wrong is going to be the key decisive factor. I mean, clearly, the sentiments are obviously negative for the stock, which is very well seen, given that there are more related party transactions. And but I think the legal point of view is going to be the most important here. I mean, more than.
So what you would want is perhaps an analyst call from the company. How will you? What are you advising investors on this stock?
It's hard again, because as of now, even from whatever tidbits I hear, I still have not been able to understand what is the legal wrongdoing that the company has actually done. So to that extent, I mean, again, fundamentally, probably things are not moving that much any which way. So it's about, as I said, we would just want to wait out for any legal course of action rather than these kind of sentimental driven information. That is what I would say. I think it's not fair to actually react to some news bits here. It's a legal case, and we need to hear what SEBI is going to do with this information that the whistleblower has.
That's true. It may not be legal wrongdoing, but sometimes when investor confidence is lost in a stock, then it's very hard for the stock to recover. Even if it doesn't see further damage from here, do you think that the recovery process could be pretty long? And what would your advice be to investors?
Recovery process may, it may be long. I think all of this is actually coming in the backdrop of the fact that Sun Pharma's financial performance has not been up to the mark for a long time now, almost 2+ years. And so this is actually adding, it's like rubbing salt to the wound kind of a thing, which is why. So on the backdrop of everything, if the financial performance improves, I think, the investors probably would be back in the course. It's more to do with that, that the company has not been performing, and now that you have this so-called corporate governance issues and all of those things. So if the financial performance improves, I think investors need not worry, and if anybody feels that the financial performance is likely to improve, well, then should be holding on to the stock, is what I would say.
Okay, so it's a double whammy of sorts. Nimish, thanks a lot for joining us. So on one hand, corporate governance issues is something that the street never likes, and on the other hand, the financial performance of Sun Pharma has just not seen any improvement. So but let's get
the stocks, sort of, at least for intraday, trying to put some kind of bottom in place.
At 380.
Sonia, 380. I think this is where last time also it sort of bottomed out. But let us see. Because the first hour volume was quite large on Sun Pharma. Anyway, let's move on. The market's off the lowest point of the day. The Bank Nifty, in fact, being supported by Kotak Mahindra Bank and ICICI Bank. Ashwani Gujral, Mitesh Thakkar and Sandeep Wagle now with us. Ashwani, what's the thought process now on the long positions? Are you adding to the longs on the decline, or is this market showing weakness?
Long we had cut early morning once the first bar was red. Now the issue is that does this, whatever support that is coming in, can it take you towards new highs, or selling will be back? Because, the first 3 or 4 bars, if you see both on Nifty, Bank Nifty, are huge red bars. So, this sort of a strong come off often does not lead to fresh highs. So my sense is that if we are not able to regain, say 10,890, 10,900, then the weakness can become bigger, because there is some sense of some macros worsening, and it's only a matter of time. 10,850 is your stop. If the market starts to come off, then below that point you would possibly look at short positions. No trend continues forever, and maybe this trend is petering out. So in case you want to take a trade, put a stop above 10,950 and then see if you get some downside traction. Otherwise, it's a choppy 100-point type of range. And Bank Nifty I'm more negative on, because that is where clearly a correction is due, and it's kind of feeling jittery at this 27,800, 600 zone. So for the moment negative, but individual stocks, Bank of India is a sell with a stop of 105, target of 98. PNB is a sell with a stop of 86, target of 80. And Tech Mahindra is a buy with a stop of 700, target of 725. For me, it's very important that we didn't respond to good news. So now whether you can go up 10 points, 20 points, that doesn't help. The initial thing was that somebody was ready to sell and he didn't even wait for the pre-market, and that way if we start to see follow through, then the market can come off.
Okay, actually, you could argue whether there was good news or not.
In my book, for bond markets, there was.
For me, there was no good news. I think
because the FM statement was that was such as to push up yields and be negative for interest rate sensitives.
Yes.
Maybe not for all stocks.
All right, but we have Mitesh Thakkar and Sandeep Bhagle also with us, so let's get some calls from them. Mitesh, hi, good morning once again. The market is clearly concerned ahead of the budget about some sort of, fiscal profligacy, more pro-farmer announcements, etc. But technically, how are you going to approach this period? And also, right now, what are the stocks you would be looking at?
Yeah, so I think, given all that, the indicator structure was not very negative, but what is not very positive is the repeated failure to get past this 10,950 zone. So as of now, we haven't broken down, but time and again, when you keep on failing at a certain level, that clearly means that, eventually, once there's some kind of a breakdown, then the selling might intensify. So as of now, I would keep a 100-point range bound kind of a view, still trading with slightly more of long bias. We have some short positions, but otherwise, I think, if we do not get past this level in the next couple of days, I'll be worried about it. For the time being, I have a buy on Biocon with a stop at 658 for targets of 684, and Gas Authority is a sell. Keep a stop at 335 half. Look for targets of 315.
Okay, Sandeep, good morning. Your thoughts and your trades?
Good morning, Anuj. I would be stock specific. I think we are in a 100-120 point range in the Nifty. I don't see 10,900 being broken so easily. 10,800, 780 can act as a support. Banking space is weak. I would agree with Ashwini. My ideas would be a sell in an Indian bank, stop loss 255, target 245, and a buy in a Biocon as well, stop loss 658, target 684.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for giving us your 10 a.m. trades. I think today we will keep coming back to you repeatedly. This is that kind of a day where the market is looking for direction. At the moment, the direction is red and it's down 0.25% for most indices.